So, 4-color Pyro Loam. We're basically a Jund deck splashing Lingering Souls. As a 4th color, there's 1 Godless Shrine in here. We've got Dr. Peasy alongside Raven's Crime and Faithless Lootings. We've got some trackers, we've got some loams, we've got some trophies. A lot of parallels to Mardu Pyromancer with some trackers and trophies and stuff splashed in. We got bridges and ley lines and stuff like that in the sideboard. I gotta imagine it's gonna be like pretty reasonable. The core strategy we're executing here is similar to Mardu Pyromancer with some trackers instead of Bedlam Revelers in a way. Getting even closer to my mighty sword. What's going on? Thanks for the 7 months, that bad control player. I appreciate it. I hope we break and die so I'm not tempted to buy it. There's some honesty. Playing Loam on turn 2 is almost as powerful as playing Batter Skull on turn 3. Which is to say, not at all. Can we put this towards Sultai Walkers in Standard? Definitely. SSJ, Gundam Wing Goku. Thank you for the very generous tier 3 sub. I appreciate that. I assume you're referring to the artifact deck with Karn and Tez and Vraska and stuff like that. Be happy to get that one back in the queue. This is a pile only a mother could love. Sounds fantastic. I'll get that in there. Thanks for the support. Brewing up a storm over there. Smells like it. Smells like it. So, perfect. Let's just Inquisition on one. That is Raven's Crime in a non-8 rack deck. All right, taking morale here is pretty good. Raven's Crime should be pretty okay here at grinding them out. Storm is a critical mass deck, so being able to just like take cards away from them in general is pretty good. Have we played against Storm once a league today? Yeah, thereabouts. Storm's a pretty cheap deck and it's very powerful, so it's pretty popular. Hope we're not dead. Me too. I also hope we're not dead. Make some 1/1s. They have Ritual, Morphos, 2 cards I don't know. They have Morphos, 2 cards I don't know. Yeah, their super fast draws usually require dorks. Even a land's a good draw next turn. Yeah, just start stripping them here. What's our record? This is match 1, game 1. We got a pretty quick clock here. Yes, Talran, gifted subs are effectively a $5 donation. It's not as bad a pile as it looks. I actually think it looks pretty reasonable, Wessels. You like took something very similar to Mardu Pyromancer, which has like an okay core, and then like added some Tireless Trackers as a way to grind outside of using the graveyard. My tier 3 sub renews tomorrow, and I can still submit a deck of the queue right now. No, you are not. Tier 3 subs and $30+ donations can still add decks to the queue. Yeah, feel free to submit using the form alcohol. How many bits is it going to take me to see humans on Wednesday? I have 1,500 for humans right now, which will put it to 58. And it looks like you would need to get it into the 70 range to guarantee it on Wednesday. So that's 22 points shy. We had lethal next turn if you cast looting. I couldn't cast looting. How do I cast looting? With a basic forest? Even with like a pretty good grape shot, they should be dead here. Yeah, retrace needs the actual cost of the spell. Yeah, I agree. That seems smart, Whistles. If things were totally different, we'd have... It's only a small difference. It's not totally different, right? As far as, like, erroneous things Twitch chat has said, like, missing what colors of mana I have, like, doesn't even, like, crack the top 10. He's dead, Jim. Get him out of here. It's okay, command slow. These trophies probably are not good enough. Definitely don't want Ancient Grudge. That was a misclick. These probably aren't good enough. So I want the Fatal Pushes. Grim Lavamancer is not stellar. Trim a Lingering Souls. This seems pretty clean. What do we think of this? This seems okay. I think I'm buying what this is selling. Brutality's like okay. It doesn't kill their creatures most of the time, but like the pseudo duress is fine. Don't you think that surgical would be better than Leyline because of Pyromancer? Nah. Pyromancer's already good when it sticks in play, and like Leyline of the Void is just the more powerful hate card. I think if your deck has Faithless Lootings in it, it should probably have 4 Leyline of the Voids in this format. Arena's quality software, thanks for introducing me to it. Thanks for the biddies, Full Metal. Glad you're enjoying yourself. This hand is more than good. It's great. I'm gonna go ahead and Thoughtseize on 1 because I prefer not to get goblins next turn. What are your thoughts on Pyromancers and Wizards? I'll listen on YouTube later to hear your answer. I think you just don't have a critical enough massive spells. I think playing Pyromancer drags you in a direction that like the blue-red Wizards deck doesn't want to go, which is like playing a bunch of cantrips to become more of a Xerox deck. How about that land draw, by the way? Is that a good one? Seems like a good one. A Braid. Just take their 2 for... Oh, I guess Gifts is pretty bad in the face of Leyline. So maybe I'm supposed to leave them that. It still like draws them the worst 2 out of their best 4 cards. Could go either. I definitely didn't consider the fact that I had Leyline with that Thoughtseize, but I think what I did was correct. Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. Alright. Abrade me, baby. Abrade me. I mean, like, this deck doesn't have that many ways to blow up those lands, though, Wessel. So, like, it's kind of narrow. Baral plus Abrade. That's rude. Am I leading on Faithless Looting here? What are the odds I die next turn? I feel like the odds I die next turn are like incredibly low. Famous last words. I'm gonna go ahead and fetch a forest and put this Tireless Tracker into play, I think. Just like try and get pressure into play. Like the Leyline is disruption. They can like bounce this and kill me, but I'm not guaranteed to hit a removal spell this turn anyway, so I think I'd rather just guaranteed get my threat into play. Alright, baby, kill me. Kill me dead. Do 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 boop 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 do 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 do. What you got? There are not Maelstrom Pulses in my 75, right? No, so if they make goblins, we're in trouble. Ritual. I assume that means they're making goblins or literally killing us, one of the two. Yeah, looks like, smells like goblins. That's a lot of green, guys. It's a budget replacement for Leyline. Nihil Spellbomb. Similar, less powerful effect, but much cheaper dollar-wide. So I'm going to 5 here. Is it illegal to check your deck list in the middle of a match in a PPTQ or larger event? While you are sideboarding, you can refer to outside notes as long as they are brief. During a game, you cannot refer to outside notes. So I'm going to 6. Not attacking with the Beryl here actually lets this Collective Brutality buy me an extra turn, right? Right? Yes, in the middle of a game, you can look at which cards are still in your sideboard. So I'd like to kill this and drain you. Now they're going to attack with everything. Yep. This puts me to 2. I think that's lethal. Yeah, so I can kill 1, drain, and then they have 7 goblins, and I take 5. So if they would have had a brick last turn instead of 2 more goblins, we'd have actually survived here. Close game. It's possible that I think there's a good chance my Thoughtseize was wrong, and I should have taken their Abrade, because then my Pyromancer would have lived, and I'd have been in a much better spot. Young Pyromancer should be looked at as an alternate win con threat rather than the main way of winning in the Wizards deck. No, I don't think so. I don't think you need more threats. I think the deck has plenty of threats in it. I see, it just needs a threat to be perfect, right? Just like Leyline, discard Damping Sphere. They have empty again. I guess I just take, wow, huh. Do I... All right, let's do it. Another fetch lands here is actually a good draw for us, because it means this Loam's going to draw 2 cards next turn, which is nice. I think taking Opt and crossing my fingers for a hot second is fine, especially with the Damping Sphere. If I didn't have the Damping Sphere, I think it's correct to take the Ritual there. But because I have the Damping Sphere to hopefully keep them off of Goblinsing me quickly, I think this is fine. Damping Sphere Raven's Crime is not a combo, is it? And I don't think I'm dredging Loam at this point. I think I need to get a Pyromancer or something going before I do that. This is why you should never take the lands. You should just take the cards that you care about, like pieces of the puzzle. It's incredibly annoying. All right, Raging Ravine is technically a clock. Now, if they're on a Braid and not Echoing Truth, that should help us a little bit. Creature lands are great. Love me some creature lands. Damping Sphere does stack. So your second spell costs 2 more mana. Your third spell costs 4 more mana. If you get there. I just need to fire this up. Obviously, I can't hold up Fatal Push this turn, but clocking them is pretty important. Before they find a Shattering Spree or an Echoing Truth or something like that to do stuff. If they have an Abrade, it might kill Raging Ravine here since there's 2 Damping Spheres. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's a 4-turn clock, which is still pretty slow. Opponents doing stuff is the leading cause of my game losses, right? Why do you always have to do stuff? All right, that's a good one. This means I might start dredging Loam. I should not have tapped my black source. I should have left my black source up there. I guess I have another black source in Wooded Foothills technically, but fetching Shocking to do that is less exciting. If some given resolves, you can have the worst 2 of your best 4 cards. I should have left up 2 black sources, chat. There's no reason to tap this swamp. Sorry, did I say 1? I meant 2. There's a deck list on your screen via the Stream Decker widget. Alternatively, you can type !deck in chat to get a direct link to the deck list on my Stream Decker page. All right, the opponent in the tank here about what to get bodes well for us, I think. We're probably going to see 3 different ways to take Damping Sphere off the table if I had to venture a guess. Yeah, Pyro plus Loam definitely has potential to beat goblins. Worth noting, this Wooded Foothills can't fetch Godless Shrine, though. Especially if we, like, dredge into a Lingering Souls, we could probably beat goblins that way. Their hand right now is Empty the Warrens, Desperate Ritual, Manamorphose, and then a bunch of cards I don't know. This is... I think I'm going to bin... I think I'm bidding a Braid plus Grape Shot here. I'm going to bid a Braid plus Grape Shot. Yeah, I can fetch Blood Crypt. I just prefer not to fetch Shock because I don't want to get chipped out of this game. Yeah, ideally, I'd like... So, again, the reason to leave up the 2 black sources there, it's... I want to be able to Fatal Push through Remand while still... while not fetch shocking myself to do it. And I think at this point, I'm going to go ahead and start dredging this Loam. Because if I hit a Raven's Crime or a Lingering Souls, I'm pretty happy with that result. Hit a Faithless Looting and a Lingering Souls, that's pretty good. Do I want to flashback Souls? If I flashback Souls, I can't push through Remand, but I think that's fine. So I'm putting them to 14 here. The nice thing about this, well, I'm not killing them super quickly. Building up a pile of tokens here is going to insulate me against them going off with goblins, hopefully. So they have double Empty the Warrens in their hand. So just like planning to smash with the Raging Ravine, they can just like cast Empty at any time, making like a double or quadruple time walk. So I think going wide here is worthwhile. They draw a way to interact with my Damping Sphere. That would be sad. Manamorphose. No, they're just cycling this on my turn. So they can go Morphose into Opt here. And then next turn they could go Ritual into Empty. Yeah, our second Damping Sphere died to an Abrade. For those that didn't catch that part. Did they cast Opt already? Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. I should have fetched there. Still no Raven's Cry. I suppose I'm gonna Faithless Looting to start. I could hit Relevant Interaction here. No, I really don't think that's true, Nita Nick. I think there's plenty of situations where they're not being forced to chump that I'm behind in. I'm not going to play the other Pyromancer out because I would prefer to... I'd prefer to not lose my entire board to a good Grape Shot should they be able to crack this Damping Sphere. So I can actually double activate Raging Ravine starting next turn. Not that that's super relevant. Urborg also being helpful here and letting my fetch lands tap for mana. So this is like a desperation pieces, right? Because like they're very dead on board here. Sweet. Got him. How are we doing, folks? Welcome. Good afternoon to wherever you're at in the world. Good evening to some parts of the world. My name is Jeff Logan. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30, 40, 50 hours a week. We play a ton of sweet modern decks here on Magic Online. We also play some standard on Magic Arena. If you find yourself enjoying my stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. I love what I do here, but the reason I'm able to be here day in and day out and do this as a job is because of support from all those wonderful subs. Past subscribing, you can also support my content by checking out some of my very wonderful sponsors. MTGOtraders.com. I love to buy and sell some Magic Online cards with you. If you use code Hoagland PayPal and check out with them, you'll save 8% on your singles orders there. Are you someone that thinks you always find the best possible line? Why don't you put your skills to the test? Head on over to PossibilityStorm.com and find over 80 Magic the Gathering puzzles of varying difficulty. They put out new ones every single week there, and they're completely free. CoolStuffInc.com buy and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles using promo code Jeff5. You can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, Warhammer, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. And of course, you might hear my wonderful shuffling deck going here. My shuffling deck is protected by none other than my BCW Elite Guard sleeves. Using code Jeff10 at BCWSupplies.com, you can save 10% on all of your orders of sleeves, deck boxes, and all sorts of other fantastic Magic the Gathering and gaming accessories there with them. We are 1-0, right? Where we just played against Storm. We are 1-0 with our 4-color Pyro Loam deck. Heading on into the next one here. We just beat Storm. Yeah, this is fine, right? Like lands, Faithless Looting, Lingering Souls, like hard to pass up. Arbor Elf. Probably want to Fatal Push that. Probably want to Fatal Push that. What's the point of Loam in Mardu Pyromancer? For those not familiar with the stream. Probably Ponza, right? So I should probably hedge on getting some basic lands going. So I messed up here. I should have cast Faithless Looting before I played my land for the turn, because now I obviously want to cast this Inquisition, but this Bloodstained Mire can't get basic forest. So that's a pretty big mistake on my part. So like this could have been cast off of this for basic swamp. Goblin, Rabblemaster, Lightning Bolt, Experimental Frenzy, Siege Gang, Commander. Not Ponza, not necessarily. Finally caught a live one. Spreadsheet Magic Hype, what's going on, Ring? Thanks for the 4 months. Welcome back. Some kind of Goblin Brew, it looks like. They could still be a Blood Moon deck, to be fair. Just gonna go ahead and flash these back. Play Overgrown Tomb. Yeah, they could become like there were various Goblin combo decks when Skirt Prospector got spoiled into Modern, so they could be something along those lines. Them missing a land drop here seems absurd for us. All right, what are you doing? Sure. Tidwell, thank you for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Suddenly, our Raven's Crime and our Kolaghan's commands don't look particularly good, chat. Suddenly, they don't look particularly good. I was hoping they'd miss a land for one more turn there. We get to, like, double grind them. Let's see, we kind of need to find a clock ASAP here. Unless they get pretty unlucky. They could get pretty unlucky. Experimental Frenzy is a card that's sometimes a 2, but a lot of times it's like a 12. They just, like, draw 4 cards a turn. Well, so far being lucky appears to be working well. Looking for a land here. I think I'm going to play with fire a little bit and leave them with this for a turn, because I really don't want to deal with Siege Gang Commander. So hopefully they don't draw. They don't draw too many cards next turn. Just want to take this Siege Gang out of their hand. Mindstone, also kind of sweet with Experimental Frenzy. Opponent's build's got a lot of neat things going on. We still have a Faithless Looting in our bin. I get to go ahead and play Dr. PZ plus Trophy, their thing this turn, which is nice. Get some more tokens going. Having had people submit a lot of green red decks in Modern, they're just really slow and clunky and die to combo decks a lot. Trophy sounds great. Collective Brutality seems kind of poopy. I guess they have Rabblemaster, which makes this better. Well, build-arounds are $50, so they're not affected by this low case-in, but yeah, I could probably find an Experimental Frenzy deck. Yes, if you wanted to submit a build-around for Frenzy in Modern, I would take that. I could probably work something out there. And you don't have to wait for the slowdown 10 to add those, because they're more expensive anyways. Is Wet Ball worth it to mitigate Frenzy? I don't think so. If I did build a Frenzy deck in Modern, it likely would not look like the opponent's deck. It would likely consist of a lot of cheap spells as opposed to playing a bunch of really expensive things. Yeah, it seems fine. Looting into souls, trophy to clean up a Frenzy. Is Frenzy and Storm that interesting? Frenzy's really bad in a deck full of cantrips, because you draw cards into your hand that you then can't cast. Would decks under the meme category still be accepted? Yeah. Every once in a while. It's a good draw. Just pick that one right on off. Well, it was a good couple of runners. Can't quite complain about those, chat. Well, we could complain, but we shouldn't. Just watch your 5-minute video where you tried to play to Screen Black and queued into Boggles twice. It really just quality content, really. So we can Inquisition next turn. I might just trophy them because I could trophy their land, which gives them a new land, but it gets rid of the ramp on it. Let's take a look at their hand and figure out if that's worth doing. Is that worth doing? I think so. Although I guess I don't need to do it right away, right? Like I can flashback Lingering Souls this turn. I think I'm better off putting my 1/1s into play so I can start attacking them. Yes, you're asking Twitch chat if you should start raid them. The answer is always yes, right? All right, and because they missed another land drop here, I'm actually going to go ahead and cast Lingering Souls again this turn. Again, just like the pressure while we disrupt is important. Meme Monday no longer exists. Meme Monday had turned very quickly into people submit decks that Jeff can't win matches with Monday. So it's now just Modern Monday. Yeah, competitive Modern's basically a meme anyways, so it's fine. Do plenty of stuff here. What an interesting and engaging game of Magic the Gathering, where my opponent never cast a spell. Well, man, that was like almost an entire match where they just didn't cast a spell, right? Yeah, they cast like 2 bolts and a frenzy in the first game, and then died. All right, 2-0, 3 more matches to go. The kids are home from school today, so I don't have to have a hard cutoff at 3:30 like normal. So if we run a little bit long, that's fine. Which is nice. Put in Worm Harvest. Nope. (2-0) versus the 4-0. Look at that. Some GP Charlotte style pairings right there. Extra long stream today? No, probably not. I have an article to write, and I have something to write about. I didn't write an article last week because I didn't have anything to write about, and I've got something that I want to write about for this week. Gonna go over some sweet standard decks. I did see the Blue-Eyed Wizards deck at the top 8 of the Modern Challenge. The 3 Fairy Conclaves was interesting. Yeah, that was the last Grand Prix I went to for a long time. I went to that Grand Prix, and then I went to GP Indy because it was close later that year. And then I haven't been to a Grand Prix since. When do we get another emote? We're probably never going to have another emote on the channel. So, The sub point count shot up an absurd amount because a bunch of people gifted subs a month and a half ago, and they've dropped back off since. So like, I currently have like 2,800 sub points. We would need 3,400 to get another emote count. So we've peaked in terms of emotes in Hooglandia, which is fine. We've got a ton of great ones. Did we decide that Jund Dinos was better than Green Red on average, or just more popular? Basically, there's no reason not to splash black into Green Red Talrand because you have black Shocklands, but you don't have Green Red Shocklands. So getting the upside of playing black cards comes at a very low cost. Why was that GP bad? The GP was bad because the pairing system broke down in the middle of the tournament, and like in round 4, people who were like 2-2 got paired into people who were 4-0, and like 1-3s got paired into like 3-1s and stuff like that. You hear that right, that there's no more emotes? We're probably not going to be able to add a new one. I can swap out some of the old ones, though. We have older emotes that don't get used a whole ton that can get swapped out at some point if we have a good idea that translates well to emote size. Yeah, 177. In my experience, like, I did a lot of research on like how much support various streamers have in different like engaging based on how many emote slots people have, and based on looking at a lot of different games, a lot lower and higher viewer counts than Magic, it seems like Magic, while we don't have the highest viewer counts compared to other games, the people that watch Magic tend to be more willing to support the people that make the content, which makes a lot of sense because Magic's more expensive of a hobby than a lot of these games that exist on Twitch, right? Like Hearthstone has infinite people that watch it, but a lot of people don't actually pay money to play Hearthstone, right? They're just free to play players. So do I just jam Peasy here? No, I think I'm gonna Inquisition. Squee, thank you for the 11 months. Welcome back, I appreciate that. I stopped over at a few other streams before ending here. I've also watched a bunch of stuff on YouTube. Your viewers support far more than any other stream I've seen. It's not even close. Yeah, I think so. I think that's true too. I think not only is Magic in general high, but and part of it too is like I'm very engaging with people that comment in chat, and like people aren't just giving me money to give me money, right? Like people are basically buying a service, and I'm well organized too. Yeah, right. Like I do more than just fire up the webcam. Between the website and the YouTube content, and like most of the time when people send me dollary dues, it's to like do something specific, right? You're not just like giving money to the random stranger on the internet, you're like buying a service from him. No, I think I want to take the Thoughtseize here because there's a good chance I stick this Tireless Tracker next turn before they can snap Thoughtseize me and then start generating card advantage with it. Have you thought of tech stock for the deck? I have not. I haven't played. I've only played the Jund Dinos deck for like 3 hours, so I don't have a ton of leagues logged. Have some money, random stranger. Thank you, No Lava, for the biddies. Yeah, it was funny. I read a comment from someone that was like, Hoagland's just a businessman that turned into a Magic streamer, and I couldn't figure out if that was a compliment or an insult, so I decided to take it as a compliment because it's far nicer if I consider it to be a compliment. Only 5 more months until my sword. Thank you for the 7 months, Stephen Douglas. I appreciate that. All right, so I get to play this, and then I get to Inquisition them, but this is going to run into a soft stub, And then they can snap bolt my Pyromancer, but then I like still have a 1/1 token left over, so I think that's fine for me. Their hand right now is snap, snap, stub. So this will get soft stubbed. They'll untap, snap bolt the Pyromancer, and I'm like, I've got my removal versus their Snapcaster Mage. How do you feel about Azusa plus Swordtooth plus Frenzy in Modern? Too slow and clunky. Too slow and clunky. Just too many cards that don't impact the board that are just too slow. I just want to type as fast as Jeff. This stream is better and more organized than most college courses. That's funny. That's a great draw. Let's me just rip the Snapcaster Mage out of their hand that we know is there. And I think I'm just going to hold on to these removal spells for now. Like, the Elemental token keeps the Snapcaster Mage at home. And then, like, I have Fatal Push for a Death Shadow, and I have Assassin's Trophy for a large delve threat. Yeah, I think people that are looking to play Frenzy in Modern, putting it into Affinity probably sounds like the most reasonable place to start. Hey, Throng, thank you for the 8-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. You think Grixis Death Shadow needs Leyline of the Void to be competitive? Nah, I don't think so. In fact, I'm not super high on Leyline in decks that aren't on 4 Faithless Looting. I know Death Shadow can play Faithless Looting, but usually they only play like 2 at most. So this is going to be a threat of some sort. They do have a fat stubby D in their hand, so I'm glad that this is Death Shadow. So I'm going to lead on the Assassin's Trophy here. Am I? So there's 2 different levels here. If I think they know I have 2 removal spells. If I think they're going to Stubborn Denial my first one, I want to lead on Assassin's Trophy because I'd rather they don't get the land for free. However, if they know about both of these and I lead on Trophy, they might just let it resolve. So that way when they draw a Delve threat, I then have to draw 2 removal spells to deal with the Delve threat. Bleeding on the Trophy could induce my opponent to make a mistake, but I think the conservative play is just like play through both of their cards and then like we're both top decking. If you were playing a green-black deck, would you not play Leyline? That is correct. I would not play Leyline. It is really unfortunate that this Wooded Foothills cannot fetch our 1 white source. There is 1 Godless Shrine in our deck. And this land cannot get it. The university student, I agreed with whoever called this stream more organized than college classes. To be fair, as someone who's taught college classes, you don't get paid enough to be very organized for most of them, especially if you're an adjunct. Sean was playing Frenzy and Legacy Belcher. That is really funny. Ding. Best land draw in our deck. One that casts Lingering Souls. This card's pretty good in this matchup. If they don't have like exactly Temur Battle Rage, will be in a really good spot. Jeff, you need to stop following these people you don't actually follow. What's going on, random guy? Thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Should we play all black fetches? Yeah, possibly. Possibly. What's the land breakdown in this deck? We're on Bloodstained Mire, and there's only one Wooded Foothills. The fetches are fine. We've just had this one Wooded Foothills a disproportionate amount of the time. I mean, you could argue like my math degree is like very adjacent to having a degree in Magic. When will the pirate outfit stretch goal be live? Man, that I forgot about that. I need to do that at some point. I need to find one with Chris. I'll let it up tomorrow. I need to have it up tomorrow because it's gonna have to be closed by like the end of the week. So I need to figure out which costume we're doing and how much it's gonna cost. Because what the goal is will depend on how much the costume is. The goal will probably be like whatever the costume costs, like plus a couple $100. Because I think I'm actually gonna have to pay to bring a bag with. Normally I don't check a bag, but if I'm bringing costumes with to the Invitational, I'm probably gonna need to check a bag. It would be $100 to have you fire the meme cannon in Legacy, right? I'd play Belcher in Legacy for 50. That's a deck that even non-legacy players can enjoy on occasion. So I'm gonna attack with the spirits first. They're just done. Sweet. Extra gold to have you speak like a pirate the whole time. How much does Loam matter in this deck? Loam is a secondary thing that this deck is doing, which I actually think is really nice because you basically get to like have this grindy element but not be all in on it, which is decent. And this is definitely an Ensnaring Bridge matchup, right? Like, not close. Kolaghan's command seems kind of narrow. Costume, this sounds good. Yeah, I wasn't going to sell my deck choice for the Invitational, but because I'm playing a deck that has an easy costume anyways, that's fun. We're going to find a costume and put it up. So I'll put that on my to-do list for tonight. I have to write an article and find a costume. There were some like really elaborate, expensive ones, but I wanted to see if we could find something reasonable in the $50 to $60 range, or some like 100 plus. Seems fine. Are you doing an elf costume too, or just pirates? There aren't really a lot of good elf costumes that exist that aren't like Christmas elf costumes. Like a pirate, like probably Majik. I just want to, so I'm not ruling out the really expensive, elaborate ones. I just want to make sure that the added cost is worth the added detail. So I haven't actually researched anything yet. I'm gonna like scroll through a bunch of things on Amazon. They took my discard spell away. It's fine. Choices are overrated anyways. I think if we do the pirate costume, I'm going to do pointy ears. So we'll just be a pirate elf. We'll just double it up. How many people have to get hairy for you to grow a Santa beard for 2019? Nah, that sounds like too much work. I think the 9th fetch should be another creature land or a marsh flats. I don't know. Another creature land might be okay. I'd have to sit down and look at the numbers on like what your colors are, but like I really love Treetop Village as a creature land. Yeah, I agree, Jade. I mean, it has a lot of parallels to that archetype. Like, it has Loams in it and can do grindy things with the Loams, but we're not all in on that singular plan. So I think my sequencing here is going to be fetch Godless Shrine, Lingering Souls, and then the following turn I can shock Pyromancer, flashback Lingering Souls. Magicka Fiend, thank you very much for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Yeah, it seems pretty good. It's like make infinite chump blockers here. This is probably going to be one of those. Well, we're dead if they have Teamer Battle Rage games at some point. Isn't the Invitational near Christmas? Near-ish. It's in 2 weeks. A little bit less than 2 weeks. I'm going to go ahead and chump early. Chump early, chump often, chat. No extra detail. You think cycling lands have a place in here? I don't think so. Like, it's really resource inefficient for the cycling lands that are 2 mana to work in Modern. Like, really clunky and expensive. That's pretty unfortunate for us. Might just not have enough action this game. We'll see. Pyromancer plus Lingering Souls is going to buy us a lot of time here, but there's a good chance we just get overpowered. I guess we're going wide enough here that, like, if I rip another Souls off the top, we can, like, go wide while chump blocking. Yeah, ears should be easy to come by, I agree. Yeah, I'm just like not beating Battle Rage, so I'm just gonna poke them here. This next turn is probably gonna be, since I'm conceding to Battle Rage anyways, I'm gonna Elemental chump the Death Shadow, take 5 from the Gurmag Angler. Now, I really just don't think the downside of the lands coming into play tapped makes it worthwhile. That's fantastic. Whiskey Dingo, thank you for the 10-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So if they had Battle Rage last turn, I was dead, so I can conclude they don't currently have that card. I'm going to bin these two. I'm going to cast this. I'm going to put this land into play tapped. Can Finality kill tokens generated by creatures it killed? Nope. So you have to snap bolt one of these tokens. And then I'm dead to double removal next turn. I'm actually dead to a single removal. They can take 3, bolt a blocker, untap, kill the other blocker. So this pause here makes me think they don't already have the second removal in hand, because if they did, they'd snap this off. Okay, I think I like their line here. It looks like they're taking the play to win line, which I think I need to make them do this. So if they hit removal or team or battle rage, we are dead. Yep, good game. Close. Get to play the next one on the play. That game kind of exemplified why the more fair matches in Modern don't feel good a lot of the time, I think. Like, they're so... the fair decks in Modern are, like, required to play all these discard spells, and these mirror matches where both players are just, like, punching each other in the face with discard spells, just, like, everything's coming off the top, feel very swingy, in my opinion. I was wondering if you still have a Sultai control list. For Modern, there is a Sultai control list on my website. For Standard, there's a Sultai Planeswalker list on my website, and there's a generic non-Planeswalker list you can find on my YouTube channel. You'll also find lots of stuff on my Stream Decker page. Yeah, that until end of turn effects like that only apply to creatures currently on the battlefield. I think I take Snapcaster Mage here. I'm pretty likely to find a removal spell at some point, especially with this Faithless Looting in my hand. Yeah, Modern, I believe the Sultai control list is under the fan favorite section of my website. You can also use the search feature on the Modern page. Hey, Radagast, your ideas intrigued me. I'd like to subscribe to your news. Let us go on. Thanks for the 8 months. Yeah. Goodbye, Tracker. I loved you. I loved you, Tracker. You were too pure for this world. You were too pure. Gonna play this tapped and pass the turn for now. Artist boycotting Magic Fest. Oh, lordy. I think Jeff is the only person alive who still has a personal website. My website's a content site. So, I'm going to lead on this. Kill one of these now before they can give me that fat stubby D. And then we're just off to the top of our deck here. I guess I have Faithless Looting to flashback to give me a little bit more selection. I am still at 20, so we're not going to be at any time completely soon. But things are not stellar for us at the moment. They played Polluted Delta. They played Watery Grave, I think. They played Shadow. They have a Swamp that I know about still. Arts are frustrated with how Channel Fireball cheaps them as vendors and tired of putting up with dwindling support. Sounds right. But what's the worst that could happen from monopolizing Grand Prix? Monopolizing things always ends up in things that are best for the consumers and the people attending them, right? No stubborn denial. Wild. All right, so I'm gonna shock this in. Flashback, Faithless Looting. Hopefully their hand's just a bunch of removal spells at this point. I'm gonna bin these. Keeping the Inquisition means this way if they draw a stubborn denial next turn, I can stub them before I cast a removal spell if I draw one. May I have a timeout, please? Definitely, always. Alright, so we're dead. I guess Lingering Souls keeps me alive, but not really. Rough. Close game 2. Kind of just got run over game 3 here. What a topical quote to end up pulling up. What a topical quote. Yeah, Ensnaring Bridge would have been an out, right? I could have ripped Ensnaring Bridge. I had 3 of those. Would have been a pretty good draw. The first time I sat through a whole stream. Well, thanks for sticking through to the end. We got 2 more matches here today with this Pyro Loam deck. Seems fine. Discard spell into threat, into removal spell. Yay! More discard mirror matches! Yay! How much RAM is Moto using? Is it all of the RAM? I feel like the answer is all the RAM. Holy gosh, that is 2 gigabytes of RAM. Why is Discord using 1.2 gigs of RAM? Why is Discord using over a gig of RAM? I'm gonna kill that one too. That Discord must leak memory as well. Discord must leak memory as well. You get a memory leak, and you get a memory leak. Everybody gets a memory leak. Don't you people have more RAM? What's the problem? Can't you just go download more RAM? Most of my other applications that leak memory, like my computer has 32 gigs of RAM and like they don't noticeably slow down. And you get Liliana. Oh god, vomit. Vomit. Why is that card so good? I've got the trophy here. I've got the trophy. I've got this Raging Ravine. Like, this is what these mid-range matches are about. They're just this terrible slugfest where you just sit here and punch each other in the face and whoever top deck's better at the end wins the game. They have a Tireless Tracker. It looks like another black card. Yeah, I've got 32 in both my systems at this point. Ugh. That's incredibly rude. I guess they're kind of on empty because like they have Nile Spellbomb to draw a card and they have the top of their deck. It's funny. One of the things that one of the things that watching, so I've started doing some artifact stuff recently, and watching other people that normally make content from other games has really made me appreciate just how progressive the Magic community is in a lot of ways. There's a lot of things I've seen streamers and other games doing where I'm just like, what if we just like didn't do that? Because that's not really a reasonable or nice thing to be doing or suggesting we do. Really, you don't appreciate what you have until you go somewhere else and realize that it's better a lot of the time. And like seeing how other streamers from other games interface with their audiences and what they are allowed to do in their Twitch chats, just like, yep, Magic's actually pretty great. I agree, Dingo. These discard mirror matches are just some of the least skill testing and most frustrating Magic I've ever played. So I think I definitely want to do this before I cast Thoughtseize, because I probably don't want to get this Thoughtseize back to my hand. No, I'm gonna extend my don't tear down other content creators in my chat rule to myself, and I'm not gonna call out the couple of specific people that really do things that rub me the wrong way. Just gonna say, you know, they're not my cup of tea, and that's okay. It's really not okay. Some of the things they were doing were just like, actually just like, well, please don't. I would prefer if you were a reasonable human being if you didn't do that, but yeah. All right, what am I doing here? So their Thoughtseize can take the front half of my Lingering Souls, but I think that's fine. I'm just gonna take their Fatal Push here so that way they can't kill my Raging Ravine when I start attacking with it here in a hot second. Yeah, the purpose of me bringing that up wasn't to crap on specific people or call them out. It was to just say I appreciate what I have here in the Magic community more after visiting other places and realizing the things they do and what is tolerated. All right, I think I start smashing here. This attack does mean if they ripped a Fatal Push, they can Fatal Push my Tireless Tracker, but I think that's fine. What happened to Meme Monday? So when we added more formats here, it didn't make sense to dedicate one of our 2 entire modern days to doing just bad decks. Whatever happened to free speech? Your free speech isn't protected here. This is Hoaglandia, not the United States. This is a private discussion for him. But my free speech. Now you make me want to eat peaches. Have the free speech, excuse, I was hoping that was what that was, Jackal Girl. The free speech on that one is just so good. Oink, Punk's not dead. Thank you for the biddies. I appreciate that. Welcome. Scavenging Ooze, is that rough? There's only one creature in my bin, right? Yeah, there's one creature. Did you get a Twitch bot to auto reply to people who ask the same questions all the time? Well, they phrase them in different ways is the problem. I don't think there's a reason to Fatal Push here. I think I'm just supposed to fire this up and like force blocks. Like they're obligated to block both of these, right? So it's just like double Abyss you. Meat and macaroni with chopsticks. Have I evolved? That's got to be difficult. Macaroni noodles are not easy to pick up. All right, down to 3. We were the more skilled player here, drawing more useful spells after the punching in the face stopped. This is another Ensnaring Bridge matchup. I think I want brutalities. I'm gonna cut most of this discard. Actually, don't have enough cards to bring in to cut all of it. I guess I'll leave the Inquisitions in. This seems fine. GQ can kill their creature lands. That's probably not terrible. It's like having more lands in general is probably not bad in this matchup. I like hitting my land drops, chat. What would be my first executive order if I was in charge? Come on now. Can I just do whatever I want? Because I'm totally one of those bleeding heart liberals. I'd make sure we take care of people. It's wild. I'd make sure people weren't dying from hunger and like had health care that they needed. They're wild, forward-thinking ideas. We could make WotC unbanned Stoneforge Mystic. We probably could. Someone asked, do I think this is a good home for Young Pyromancer? Yeah, I think so. I think that's reasonable. Like, having... the core of this deck is basically Mardu Pyromancer with a Tireless Tracker, Trophy, and Loam as opposed to the Bedlam Reveler package. And I kind of like that Tireless Tracker is a card that can generate card advantage without leaning on your graveyard, so that way when your opponents have graveyard hit, you still get to do a thing. Yep. All right. Tireless Tracker, deliver us. We do also, it's also worth noting that like having access to Assassin's Trophy is a big leg up in spots like this, right? Like Trophy's a card we can board in that answers Leyline. That's also, what's the word I'm searching for? That is also very reasonable in other spots. Like when they don't have Leyline. All right, let's get our card selection on here. Dear Faithless Looting, all I want for Christmas is a land. Perfect. Okay, so what am I doing here? Vaccines are terrible. Vaccines cause adults, and have you met most adults? They're rancid. Why would you want more adults? think I discard these two and then plan to trophy this Leyline. Am I trophying the Leyline? I could also, like, bin souls, bin Faithless Looting, trophy the Scavenging Ooze, and just ignore the Leyline. I think I'm gonna actually ignore the Leyline. No, my kids have all their shots. I like my children. I want them to live, so I make sure they have all their shots. It's pretty complicated. Yeah, like, exactly, right? Like, they just, like, don't have a lot to be doing right now. So, like, taking their scavenging off the table is big game. Tracker's pretty good, though. And the problem is, if I kill the Tracker... if I kill the Skooz now, the Tracker will make a clue. It's a little bit tough. I think I have to kill the Tracker. Like, hope to rip a Fatal Push afterwards. For trying to create a deck for deck donation, what are some of the things that you want people to avoid? What are some of the things you find most miserable? This considering I want to try a real deck and not a meme do nothing deck. Well, there's a list on the donation queue that is the no-fly list, which lists the archetypes that I don't generally play. Generally speaking, especially in the realm of brews, the question you want to ask yourself is this going to be reasonable, is generally answered by asking yourself the simple question, can this deck goldfish consistently quickly, or is it heavily interactive? And heavily interactive in Modern generally means, are you playing a bunch of discard spells? We are up on cards here, so like, if this Young Pyromancer can hop in front of Grim Flayer, we're just like a removal spell away from really being ahead in this game. But that being said, the Scavenging Ooze and Grim Flayer, especially if they have a removal spell here, are threatening to kill us long before we can choose our card advantage. Guess I'll take a draw step here. I'm taking 5. Yeah, like, if we hit a removal spell here, we can go, like, Pyromancer into Doomblade this, then, like, start chump blocking Scavenging Ooze, which is reasonable. Alright, that also works. Yeah, I really like the build of Blue-Black Fairies on the website. That's one of those decks that's always just like, this deck is so close to being great, but just comes up a little bit short, I think. It's very, very close to being there. All right, they did leave cards on top here, so the top of their deck is going to be a little bit hot. I can kill Grim Flayer and drain them here, which is nice. I think I definitely want to do that. Just get a little bit more buffer in my health total here, ideally. They should reprint Battle of Wits and Standard so we can play it on Arena. Yep. Yeah, I agree, Persip. Someone else commented earlier that this feels a lot like the 4-color Loam deck in Legacy, and I really like that parallel. Like, it's a deck that can lean into its graveyard for advantage when leaning into the graveyard is good, but it's not all in on that game plan. Yeah, I agree. The play patterns that 1-minute discard spells generate are not enjoyable. That's a subjective opinion that you're welcome to disagree with, but it's definitely how I feel. Man, what are they holding? Am I blocking with this yet? I don't think so. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just attack here and like hopefully draw a spell we can cast next turn. Take a hit down to 3. They're not a lightning bolt deck, so I can be pretty liberal with my health total here. I wonder what they kept on top if it wasn't threats and it wasn't cards that kills these creatures. So here's, for people that don't understand why I talk about 1-mana discard spells versus counter spells, I actually think counter spells are really good design and 1-mana discard spells are not. And here's why. In my opinion, good game design, designs that create interesting gameplay, are cards that are dynamic and create play and counterplay and create decisions for both players. A counter spell you choose to hold up, so that's a choice you get to make as the person with the counterspell, and then your opponent gets to look at you holding up your counterspell, and then they get to make the decision, do they want to play into the counterspell that you're holding up? So counterspells allow both players to make decisions. Whereas discard spells have one player explicitly strip another player of their choices. So discard spells remove choices from one player, while counter spells give both players meaningful decisions. And that's the big difference between the two. In my opinion, the only 1-mana discard spell I've ever really liked, if you've ever seen the card Blackmail, I really like that card. Put these towards Black White Walkers. Feel free to tweak beforehand if you fit something better. Thank you for the support ribbon. I appreciate that. I'll get that added to the queue after we're done today. Thank you for the very generous bits. So honestly, I don't even think Counterspell would be that good in Modern. It would be in my opinion, Counterspell in Modern would be a lot like Assassin's Trophy is now. You would play it, but it wouldn't break the format open. It wouldn't suddenly make a bunch of decks that aren't very good a whole lot better. A lot of decks that would play Counterspell already play Logic Knot, which is effectively Counterspell in a lot of the situations. So this attack is, I have to make a pretty important decision. I think I'm just chump blocking with Young Pyromancer here, because if I double block and they kill one of my other creatures, they then get to eat my Tireless Tracker. So I think I just want to pump a chump here. What do you think of cards like Thought Erasure in Standard? I actually think Thought Erasure is in a very sweet spot because it costs 2 mana. I think the fact that Thought Erasure costs 2 mana and has an effect past just being a discard spell makes it a lot less offensive. Oh, they don't get to eat. Oh, I'm so dumb. Yeah, I totally should have put Tireless Tracker in front of this. I don't know where. I zoned out. This Leyline of the Void is. Yep, totally should have traded a Tireless Tracker there. Thank you for pointing that out, chat. I'm about to get Maelstrom Pulsed and cry. Really? Okay. Interesting. They must have kept that from the Grim player, right? Which is surprising to me. So, like, suddenly, I'm ahead, right? I'm, like, suddenly very ahead. You have another threat? You have another removal spell. Deal. Go. I mean, like, I think Damnationing there is correct for them. I think they're losing to those 2 trackers. Alright, so I can't fetch shock this turn, but that will get tapped Godless Shrine and then cast these Lingering Souls to slowly beat them down. That being said, it is worth noting that if I fetch here with this, I am dead to Collective Brutality at that point. Like they were in a bad spot regardless, and I think if I was in their position, I would have done what they did. I think the mistake you could have argued that they made was that if they had Damnation in their hand, they probably shouldn't have played out their second copy of Scavenging Ooze. That's probably a mistake that they made. I think Damnationing there was completely correct based on their situation, but they probably should have been more conservative with their other skews. Alright, that Raging Ravine is staying at home. He's can't quite get past the bridge. I am putting myself dead to Brutality here. I don't actually think we've seen Brutality out of them. It's definitely right to get these Spirit tokens in play, though. Definitely want to start just running these down. They have another Golgari Charm. They have another Golgari Charm. Rude. I can't flashback souls. If I could flashback souls, I would have done that. Flashing back souls is not an option. Yep. Well, Ravine is on. Young Pyromancer was good. We've drawn very well these games. Although I guess you could also argue like we've had Faithless Looting to smooth out some of our draws. I actually really like this list, Wessel. I like a lot of what's going on here. I feel like the details in this are really good. It has like the parts of green black I like with like the parts of Mardu that I really like. All right, crush, 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 crush. Do. If we can fade Collective Brutality here, I think we're gonna be in a pretty good spot to win this game. The soundtrack of my life has a lot of Haley Williams in it. Christy and I actually danced to a Paramore song at our wedding for our first dance. Something upbeat. Dead to Waste Reality Smasher. You are technically correct, which one could argue is the best kind of correct. Holding priority and casting both. Nah, I don't think so. I think in the face of like another Scavenging Ooze or a Tarmogoyf, I'd rather just hold this push. Where the lines overlap, Jared H. Let's have a moment of Jeff does social media. There is nothing salty. There's nothing negative or salty about not playing a match that I know I won't enjoy and moving on to the next one. I do this weird thing where I play games for fun. When they aren't fun, I don't play them. And this is the most important part about Jeff does social media. Read your tweets back to yourself, people. There's nothing negative or salty about not playing a match that I know I won't enjoy and moving on to the next one. I do this weird thing where I play games for fun. When they aren't fun, I don't play them. Yeah, there's a lot of try-hard. There's a lot of try-harding in Magic. And as someone who's produced try-hard content, there isn't a lot of non-try-hard content's a lot more popular. Gambling, where's my gambling winnings? Where? Gamble, gamble. Did they just take a Courser of Krufix? That's awkward. Trophy? Lingering Souls. Lingering Souls. What's my gear? This is a $10 USP HP keyboard from Amazon. At the end of the year, I throw it away and buy a new one. All right, so I think the plan here is fire up Raging Ravine. Raging Ravine attacks them. Elemental attacks Lily on the Last Hope. They kill the Elemental. I push the Courser. I make a token, and then they should just be dead. You could spend way more money if you got into the mechanical game. You're not wrong. I definitely could spend more money. Are you still doing a yearly unban, or is that proven to be a mistake? I think I'm off of that. So I haven't... So when I was doing a yearly unban, I was permanently banning people more aggressively. Since I've moved to mostly timing people out, the people that are actually end up on my ban list are people that are pretty rancid in my experience. So I think I'm done doing yearly unbans. I only subscribe here because I enjoy being oppressed. All right, sweet. And since the kids are home from school today, I actually have time to play this last match. It's been a long league, but it's been a pretty fun one. This is probably the most fun I've had with a fair deck in a long time. What are my comments on this so far? I think my big comment that I would look at to start on here is that I want more lands in the deck. I really kind of want more lands. I think it's also I'm not convinced, and this might hurt you, Wessel. I'm not convinced that Life from the Loam is worth playing in this deck. I feel like the good things that this deck is doing don't involve Life from the Loam. I feel like if this was just like a Mardu green black, it would probably be a better deck. But we'll play one more match here and we'll do a full wrap up segment like we usually do. My gut right now is like I just want like another tracker, another Tasigur, and like at least 2 more lands in the deck. Because like people use Faithless Looting to cheat down on their land count. We can also use Faithless Looting to cheat up on our land count. Yeah. Well, I'll pull the list apart and take a look at what I would do to it if I were to play this again after we finish today. I always do a wrap up segment at the end when we're playing viewer submitted deck list to kind of talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, and what I would change. I feel so attacked. Sorry, Loam. Would I run this back for $10? You angriest lemur, thank you for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. No, I'm not going to add more modern decks to the queue under 10 right now, Nick. The modern queue just takes so much longer to get through because it's slower playing modern decks on Magic Online. All right, here's the deal. If Life from the Loam plus Raven's Crime wins us this game, it might be worth playing. It might be worth playing. If that's true. How can you tell I love playing a deck? Probably has a bad Scapeshift matchup. Number 1 sign, I like a deck, probably has a bad Scapeshift matchup. That's not strictly true. Blue-Black Fairies has a pretty okay Scapeshift matchup. Blue-Black Fairies had an okay Scapeshift matchup. All right, so I'm going to bin these trophies. So what are the types of matchups that I do enjoy in Modern? So the cross archetype matchups tend to have a lot of interesting play in them. So like playing the discard based interactive decks against some of the combo decks where your interaction is meaningful. So like playing black green against a deck like Storm or Infect or Affinity or Hardened Scales. Those games have a lot of back and forth to them. There's a lot of interacting in between them. But there's a lot of matches in Modern that I think are just I wouldn't classify them as good games of Magic. because of the types of games that they end up being. I probably should have kicked this. We're probably over 3 gigs of RAM at this point. Is there value in binning Loam with looting and dredging it? Probably. I'm gonna tweet the picture of Moto having used 3 gigs of RAM. Has it completely locked up? I think it's completely locked up. I wonder if we hit the upper limit of how much memory a 32-bit application can address. We probably are close, if not at it. I'm not gonna do a full shill here, but I have to reload Magic Online, so un moment. Oh, oh. All right, let's check and see if they've got a Pact or a Escape Ship. They just have Land Titan, we're dead. Move on with our lives. Well, reboot what's record? We are 3 and 1. Escape Ship Farseek. Okay, so now begins the ever joyous part of the Escape Shift matchup where you just clench your butt cheeks tightly together and you go, dear opponent, please never draw a card. I can't beat a card opponent, so please never draw it. Is it 4 gigs? Yeah, I think you're right. Probably 4 gigs. Probably 4 gigs. The 5 pence territory. It was Paulo Vitor Damaderosa who summarized Tron so perfectly in Modern and why it's hated. He was like, you know those games against Burn that you play where you're like, gosh, I really hope they don't draw a Burn spell this turn. Playing against Tron is like that feeling all the time starting on turn 3. You're just like, welp, I hope they don't have it, because if they have it, I'm really dead. Please don't have it. So play this, make a clue, kill this. Go ahead and crack this clue, so we're clueless for a hot second. Thoughts on fast food delivery because I'm too lazy to get out and I'd rather watch your stream. Lots of great places to deliver these days. Titan Shift is a great deck. It's very, that's not, what my comments on Titan Shift there just now weren't a complaint. They were a statement of fact. It is a fact that all of the decks that I enjoy playing just eat it in the worst way to Titan Shift. They're just rancid matchups. Like, Titan Shift beats up the fair interactive mid-range decks. How did I meet Christy? Christy and I met through Boy Scouting. So there is a co-ed branch of Boy Scouts. And Christy and I were both a part of that during high school. And then we later met back up during undergrad and started dating. And the rest is history, as they say. Look at that. Got him. Yep, Venture Crew. Got a couple of Alpine Moons. Look at that. Not just dead to rights. So you're saying there's a chance. Take a chance on me. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. The crew I was in was pretty diverse. It was like, I think it was actually like 60-40 with more girls. I don't remember exactly. I was 16, 17, 18 at the time. I don't remember. That was a decade ago. All right. Let's see if we can get incredibly lucky one more time. Yeah, I heard about that change. My parents are still involved somewhat with scouting. My mother was telling me about that. That's a good change. The BSA program is a good one. Aside from some of their issues with certain types of people that people should have issues with in 2018. Am I keeping this? I think I'm keeping this. I'm gonna keep this. Like, I want more lands, but like Life from the Loam picking my fetch land back up as more lands. Christy does not like me without a beard. Yeah, I agree. And like, that game of Magic is like, it's one of the ones, like, it's just like Bogles, right? Like, I had a couple of people comment on my Bogles thing saying that, well, if your opponent never drew a spell, you maybe could have won that. And I was like, I agree. If they never drew a spell, I would have won that. But it wouldn't have been an interesting game of Magic, right? And that's what, like, when I talk about these interesting games of Magic, it's just like, well, I can win, but like, the reason why I'm winning isn't because of anything I did or anything my opponent did. They either like drew their bomb and killed me when they had 6 mana, or they didn't and they died. How far in is the guard? We are almost done. This is the tail end of my stream here today. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and fetch a basic mountain and put this Pyromancer into play. And then next turn, I will fetch a basic forest, cast Life from the Loam, cast Thoughtseize. Yeah, exactly. I want to hold the Thoughtseize for a hot second until they're closer to actually playing a threat that can kill me. You want to give them... I knew their hand was empty at one point. I want to give them more chances to draw cards that I care about taking away from them. So I'm keeping track of cards in their hand. Oh, they played Wooded Foothills, so I don't know one of the cards in their hand right now. Being on the play is a pretty important edge in Modern in my experience. I think I'm going to go ahead and Thoughtseize here, because they could go Land Titan or Landscape Shift. With Prismatic Omen in play, Scape Shift kills us on just 6 lands. I did bring in Ghost Quarter, not that that really helps. The official stance that BSA has Doshu. That might be the case today. Paikitsune, when I was growing up, that was not the case. I'm glad that's the case. That's a good thing. I had a little heart attack when they tap 4 mana, right? So again here, like, not really interesting gameplay at this point. Just me going, well, I hope they don't draw Primeval Titan. I hope they don't draw Escape Shift. If they don't do the thing that their deck does to play Magic, I win the game. And if they do, I probably lose. And that's not a complaint, it's just a statement of fact. Just like, the only way I win this game is my opponent literally never draws a payoff. Their deck basically doesn't do anything. Oh, look, they drew a thing. So we died. Oh, it's a bad thing. Yay, bad cards. Yay. All right, so I'm gonna take a draw step this turn because I'm not casting Life from the Loam. I'm gonna go ahead and double cast this Lingering Souls. We don't win this match, the opponent loses it. That's a great way to look at it, I think. Like, we don't hold our fate at all. Either their deck actually works or it doesn't. Those are the options. Am I trading an elemental token for 3 points of damage here? I think I am. 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 Yep. Let's just ship this in here. So I've got nine tokens in play, so I killed them in 2 here. Doesn't really do anything. Trophy doesn't really do anything for me here, right? None of these cards matter. None of these really matter. Is there any position where this Assassin's Trophy matters? Sure, but at least behind the 3/3, so that doesn't do anything. They have enough lands that Trophy on Omen is probably irrelevant. I guess I'll hold it up. We could, if they hit, we could punish them for playing loose. Yeah, Valakut's an intervening if clause. It checks when it goes in the stack, and it checks when it resolves. So here's hoping they brick and die. Hopefully they put the last brick on the wall of their house with this draw step. So we're dead no matter what we do here. So if I trophy this, they go get... If I trophy this, they still go get 2 Valakuts, and then the Valakuts trigger off of these fetch lands, plus they have a land in their hand. So that doesn't accomplish anything, right? I'm just gonna make sure I'm not missing anything. Nope. If I trophy a fetch land, the Valakuts themselves come into play and deal 12. So, yeah, we're just dead. I'm just not gonna bother playing the last game. It's just not fun. It's just not interesting. Pretty likely to lose to it, so I'm just not gonna bother. Those are the types of games of Magic that I don't enjoy, so I'm not going to play it. Sorry. Those are you lose that matchup most of the time, and it's actually at the Open in Columbus where I played the green black rock deck. I had 3 games in a row where the red green Valakut player was just dead on board, and then 2 of the 3 times they untapped, drew the thing, and killed me. And it's just like, that's just how it goes. It's just how it goes. All right, as far as this deck was concerned, I kind of liked what was going on here. You're going to have matches against like Bogles and Scapeshift where you're just going to die. And that's okay. The thing I think I took away from this is the Loam package was kind of silly. I think everything else that's going on here just doesn't need the Loam package. So I think I would cut these Raven's Crimes and these Life from the Loams and maybe move a Brutality to the sideboard. And then I think my changes that I would try... I probably don't need this Kolaghan's Command here. I think I would start with something like this. I could probably do this Brutality in the main deck this way. Do this and then add 2 lands. Yeah, I think this is what I would do. Or maybe leave this in the board, put another 1-mana discard in, like an extra Thoughtseize is probably fine. Like 7 1-mana discard spells, especially with Faithless Looting. The Grim Lavamancers might not be needed either. Maybe that's the cut. Honestly, Skews is probably a playable card in this deck. Just kind of like turn it into like green-black Pyromancer. Yeah, that's gonna be my last match for the day. So I think I would do something like this to try. Just like Mardu green-black kind of. And then like add 2 lands here. Like probably just 2 more Raging Ravines, honestly. Raging Ravine is quite good. She putting cards into Green. No, like the Faithless Looting Young Pyromancer Lingering Souls aspect like gives you something interesting to be doing that's different. Like helps you do things that Green Black Rock isn't normally doing, I think. So if you're looking for something that's kind of fair and a little bit different, I think this seems like a very reasonable thing. And again, I just like fill in 2 more Raging Ravines over here. Seems neat. Not quite Jund or like Jund Mardu Jund or whatever you want to call it. I think I like this. So I'm going to go ahead and call it for the day. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, thereabouts. We'll be doing Standard on Arena all day tomorrow, on Tuesdays as always. And if you're just in it for the Modern, I'll be back with more Modern on Wednesday morning about 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks everyone for watching. And as always, thanks for the support, the biddies, and the donations, and the subs, and all that jazz. Y'all keep me here. If you want to find more of my content after this, head on over to my website. I'm going to hit publish on a bunch of videos on YouTube here momentarily. If you prefer watching live content, I'm going to find someone else streaming.